Thank you once again for joining me on my YouTube channel. It's your girl, Nicole, and today I'm just really talking about how I know I'm designing a life that supports my nervous system. Um, and there's something that, as I'm recording, sometimes I get aha moments after the recording or I think about something. So this is where I get to freestyle on my thoughts. So I wanted to clear something up. I have spent years, I would like to say maybe 15, maybe even 20, okay? 15 to 17 years um working on my mindset, my spiritual values, and doing a lot of deep inner work. Some people might say they're dark shadow or what have you, but like I've spent a lot. And as a result, a lot of that has been really solid. So people generally call me very positive. I see the glass always half full. I always live in optimistic possibility. So this is just because of years of work, therapy, mindfulness, going to retreats. Like it's so and of course I can always get better, but this is like so embedded in me. Um, but I felt at one point that I didn't want a life that just looked good on the outside. So I've never had a life that I felt that looked good on the outside and felt weak on the inside. I actually felt like I had the reverse, like in a sense of I spent more time on my inner growth. And not to say I didn't have a high value, on like material things in the way that I feel that you need to survive and thrive in this earth plane or in this world. Because at one point I felt like I associated having a lot of things. It's kind of like when you have a relationship with money and like, growing up, you kind of think of people who are rich, they don't care about people, they're evil, like that type of idea, right? So I always thought of like, I didn't want to be a person that just had a lot of things and didn't have a good soul, that wasn't kind to humans. So for a while, I felt like there was a disconnect that I had with these two things. And what's changing now for me is that I'm healing something that was broken, right? I'm bringing the rest of my life. It's kind of like bringing things into coherence or integrating. Um, so it's like I figured out how to like live abroad, create community, but now I'm bringing those things in. I know how to do that really well, right? I know how to be courageous, as people call me, and just get up and decide. What I'm living in my fifth country, if you will, right? Like I can get up and I can do these things because I understand how to create home within myself. But now, what's different as I rebuild my life after 40 or over 40 is I'm thinking about and doing things that have to do with my career direction, finances, relationships, long-term planning, where and how I want to live, right? Um, so my inner world feels so clear. Um, and now my outer life needs to catch up. And I think I got the best aha moments when I was home because I started to think about if I had to just leave abroad abruptly, like what kind of life would I like to live? I would like to continue living the life I live abroad. And what I recognized, if I had to be honest, was that certain things that I was enjoying abroad, I don't know if I could enjoy it home in the States at the same level or for the same amount of time. So these are just realities that I thought about for myself. And so some of the things I also realized was that healing gave me awareness, right? Not escape, awareness. So I started thinking about my time abroad right? Meditation, as I mentioned, which I still do every day. Insight Timer app, I highly recommend it. Therapy, mindfulness, like just learning how to be mindful and not wanting to respond to everything, being present. They weren't escapes. These were mirrors. These were opportunities. They gave me calm. I think that's why I can thrive in these communities. That's why I can help you thrive wherever you go, right? I always used to say I didn't want to be someone who was unhappy all the time, negative or angry. I've even just in the summer, I've been around people who in my eye, I feel have a lot of things, even more than me. And they just always seem so disgruntled about things. And I think that for a long time, that was my association. I'm just like, if you could have so much and still be unhappy, and I could have a little and I could be at peace, like I just had a disconnect, like, oh, I don't want that. But now, as I said, I'm bringing those things together, right? I don't see them as separate. Um, so I really love that I've had that clarity. Um, I now know that I can be grounded, I could be spiritual, I could be fulfilled in my career, and I can create and sell things that I actually believe in. I can be financially independent, I could be deeply loved, and I could be surrounded by nourishing friendships and live abroad. So none of these things like cancel each other out. And that is the joy. That's what's different about now. It's like I'm not thinking of these things separately or that I have to do this to get here or what. It's like, nah, I could actually bring all these things together. And that doesn't require me to be aware, conscious about it, being intentional. So for me, supporting my nervous system doesn't mean shrinking my life, right? So I'm understanding, I'm driven, hence why I decided to move to Hong Kong. I needed a place that would match my energy. I do like building, I love creating groups and supporting others. And I knew that I wanted momentum, right? So when my ambition has a place to land, a place like Hong Kong, a place like Shanghai, right? My body actually feels steadier, like for sure. And right now, even with things at this exact moment not being exactly how I want them to be, I still feel more freedom, especially the freedom to create. The fact that I'm on here on these YouTube, you know, um, and now I'm thinking about my affirmation cards that I put out that I never decided to sell. I'm thinking about entrepreneurship. I'm thinking about love. I'm thinking about wellness. I really trust that what I'm building, right, enough to put it out in the world because I understand. And I know it can land anywhere. So whether it's Asia, the US, because the need for grounding and self-trust is human. You need it. And now for me, I would say that alignment, this is what it feels like for me. I have a clearer sense of self. I have clearer desires. And even with my desires being clear, like I don't minimize them. So I was talking with a friend this morning and I was saying I have everything that I've asked for. So I'm recognizing that I just want to be audacious and asking for more things and not thinking, oh, because I'm in this country, I can't have it, or because like I'm literally just being audacious. My readiness for partnership, I understand he's out there, he's coming. He's in full alignment to this energy. Sustainable health. I'm already looking up gyms that I'm going to join. I'm excited about being in a city where getting 10,000 steps on a day-to-day basis is almost like normal. Um, so I really love that. I love that I've already joined a group of people who hike because hiking is quite popular here in Hong Kong. Um, and staying longer in one place, as I mentioned in one of my other videos, like regardless if I have dreams of being in other places, like for me right now, I'm just doing some more groundwork. I'm building a foundation for my future. And of course, as you all know, I love to do is build community. And what's so beautiful is when you build community, your community extends itself to you. So, I've had friends from Thailand give me people to connect with here in Hong Kong. So I don't feel like I'm unclear. I also feel that I can embrace challenges even more. Um, and there's real joy to me in meeting life's challenges from that place. And don't be fooled that maybe at another video, I have already had some challenges on my arrival in Hong Kong. But because I already understand and know what is ahead of me, I am just like smiling through it, and I would say doing a lot of healing work, therapy, and just knowing what I want for myself. I'm just like, you know what? This is probably part of the process. So I am Nicole. I'm an expat and a well-being coach. And a lot of my work is around helping transitions feel grounded instead of chaotic. Um, if you've done a lot of inner work and you're realizing it's time for the outer parts of you to match that, that is definitely not regression. It's called integration. Integration. Um, we don't need to be hippies, and being super spiritual and broke, right? We don't need that. We also need to be spiritual and healthy. We also need, so just like putting all these things together, I think that is what's going to make you have the best experience abroad. Thank you so much for checking out this video, coming back again, talk in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate you. Have a fab day.